Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. So today we are going to look at our last topic, which is arrays. Um, Note that the variables that you have worked so far are designed to hold only one value at a time. These are single variables. So you have previously you have learned about variables and you have used them uh, throughout your program so far, and it's they are all single variables. Okay, so today we're going to learn about arrays, where you can actually store more than one value at a time in one array. Array is it's not called it's not a variable but an array, but it can hold uh, a number of variable of the same type and the same name. Okay, for example, if you if you have a few test scores to be stored, maybe you have three tests. Okay, so you have test 1, test 2, and test 3. So you usually you will use one variable for each test score. So you will declare something like int test 1, int test 2, int test 3. Okay, you usually declare like this. These are all single variable. Okay, so but with array, you need only to declare one array with the name test, int test, and specify the size of the array. So array can store multiple values of the same time. So in this case we want three values, which is test 1, test 2, and test 3. So what happened in your memory address is that these values are stored in adjacent memory. So if you use single values, they are stored randomly. One variable will store at a random address, another variable will be stored at another random address, and the other variable will be stored at another random address. So with by using array, you are putting your variable into adjacent memory location, and you can access them contiguously. Okay, so how to declare an array? Okay, you use the data type of the variable. Okay, so in this case, let's say you want to store test scores, so you store them in integer value. So all the test score will be in integer value. So in int test square bracket 5, this means this 5 is the size. Okay, so this means that you're creating 5 adjacent memory location in your memory space, and this 5 location adjacent memory location located is called test. Okay, this this an array called test. Okay, right. So this is how analogically how it looks like in your memory address. So you have 5 adjacent memory location. The first element followed by the second element, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. So the definition int test. So remember, array hold values of the same data type, cannot hold values of different data type. So when you have an array, if it is integer array, it will only hold integer values. It won't hold any other values like float or anything. So all the values in that array, all the data type in that values in the array is of integer data type. Right. So we'll start with the definition. Start with the array data type. If it's integer, then integer, and then the name of the array, test, and followed by the size declarator in the square bracket 5. If it's 5, 3 is it depend on your needs. So it shows the number of element in the array. So the size of an array, if you type size of and the array name, will return you actually the number of element and the size of each element. Okay, so if let's say you have integer integer one integer, if if you use one in single variable of the type integer, the size of the element is 4 bytes. The size of that integer, the variable, is 4 bytes. So if let's say you use uh, so let's say this integer test1, the size of test1 is 4 bytes. Okay, test2 4 bytes, test3 4 bytes. When you use array test3, what happened is, because it's integer, so one one value is 4 bytes, so 4 times 3, so we'll get 12 bytes, where each element is actually 4 bytes, but the total size of the array is 12 bytes. Okay, right. So name constants are usually used as common as size declarators. So sometimes in programs you state the size as constant value. So you want your array to be similar, of a similar size. So you put the size as constant. So whenever you have an array to declare, you just declare int test size instead of having to put the size value inside every time. Okay, so when you want to adjust the size, you can just adjust at the constant value. So for example, you can do something like this: constant int size, so size equal to 3. Since I have only 3 tests, so I can just use this test size. And then if I want to add, if I want to add another assessment like quiz, so I just use the same size declaration size, so which means that I have 3 size. So if I want to change later, let's say I have more tests and more quizzes, the same number, so if I have 5, so I'll have 5 tests and 5 quiz automatically. So that's this is for the ease to maintain a program, so you don't need to update your array declaration every time. You just update with the size declaration on top. Okay, right. Accessing array elements. So how do you access these arrays? Okay, so each element in the array is assigned a unique subscript, and they start at 0. So sometimes we call it index. So it starts with index 0. So let's say you declare test of size 5. So the subscript start from 0 to 4. So you won't get 5 uh, 5 0 to 5 or 1 to 5. You get 0 to 4. Okay, so in that case, for example, okay, so if you want to use let's say you want user to key in the test marks. Okay, see out, enter test 1, then test 1 marks. Okay, then you just put inline there, inline. So you see in test 0. Okay, just copy this. We have 3 tests, right? So let's try test 2. Yeah, change this to 3. So test 2, test 3, 1, 0, 1, 2. right? And then when you want to print cout test 0, oops, test 1, so test 2, oops, okay, right. So now we can compile and we can run. So enter test 1 mark, let's say 30, enter, then test 2 20, and then 50, test 3. So you have 30, 20, 50. So this value will be, imagine it will be stored inside here. Okay, 30, 20, 50, right? So we have 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, sorry, right? So next, so the last element is always n minus 1. So if you have size 5, so 5 where n is actually 5, so n minus 1, the last subscript is 4. So that's why 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it starts with 0. Okay, you can also use array elements as regular variables. Okay, just like what I did here. So you can do test 0 equal to 79. Okay, and then cout test 0, in test 1, test 4 equal to test 0 plus test 1. So but this is playing still with an array. So but you cannot do something like this, cout test. Okay, you cannot just put test without the square bracket, because the square bracket determine which elements to be used for the instruction, whether it's to cout or whether it's to do any addition or assignment or just to get an input. Okay, so you need to always have the square bracket. Okay, examples, program 7.1 is example how you do cin. You access the array using cin and then print out the value. So it has 6, the array of 6, size 6, starting from 0 to 5, and it stores the value, the hours that you entered, so depending on the user input. Okay, accessing array content, you can access element with a constant or literal subscript. So with this, okay, you can use integer expression as subscript. So you can use integer I equal to 5, test I, so which means that you are accessing test 5. Okay, so this is important when you use for loop later, because you can use I. So you can also use loop. You need to use loop to step through an array, because at the moment, yes, you just see the test set example is just only 3 elements, but the array elements can be hundreds and thousands and many more. Okay, so you cannot be using test 0, test 1 one by one, so you'll be using loop to walk through your array. Okay, so how do you walk through your array? So usually we use for loops, because we know how the size of the array. So when you know the size of the array, the best is to use counter control loop, which is a for loop. Okay, so for loop, okay, you can see that the int count is actually the index of your array elements. Okay, the subscript. So int count equal to 0, count smaller than array size, count plus plus. So count start with 0 is the first element of your array, and then as long as the size is not met, it will increment after this statement. Okay, so for this